I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term swirlers, but if you're not, the term swirlers in the Black community refers to Black individuals, often Black women, but not exclusively, who date or marry non-Black people, particularly white partners, okay, or white Hispanic partners. The term derives from the metaphor of swirling two different colors, usually black and white, suggesting interracial relationships. Now, this is a colloquial term for a Black person, especially a Black woman, who is romantically involved with someone outside the Black race, often white. Now, this is the act of engaging in interracial dating or marriage, typically with an emphasis on Black-white pairings. Now, what is the cause of Black women? Okay, and I say it's not exclusive to Black women, but what is the cause of Black women dating outside the race? Now, there's many reasons. I've heard there's not enough good Black men. That's number one. Number two, some women just want to mix with white people or white Hispanic people for features, for Eurocentric features because of straight hair and light skin. Now, within the Black community, the term can carry neutral, positive, or negative connotations depending on the context, intent, and who is using it. But it has been used to celebrate interracial love, especially in spaces that promote Black women expanding their dating options due to challenges in the dating pool. Conversely, it's sometimes used pejoratively, especially by critics who perceive swirling as a rejection of Blackness or Black partners, or as rooting in internalized racism and anti-Blackness. Because we've heard that rhetoric from some Black women as well. They don't like Black men because they're Black. So they tend to date outside their race. Now, if we look at some of the psychological and social layers of this and the historical trauma behind it, the history of interracial relationships, mostly between Black women and white men, is fraught with power imbalances and violence and exploitation, especially during, slavery and Jim Crow. And this history affects how some people view swirling as either reclaiming agency or repeating patterns of subjugation. Now, interracial couples, especially featuring Black women and white men, have been increasingly normalized in the media through commercials, television shows, and movies. However, some argue that this is done at the expense of showcasing healthy Black love, reinforcing certain beauty and desirabilities hierarchies when it comes to colorism. Now, there's been many discussions about swirling often intersect with colorism and preference shaped by Eurocentric beauty standards. And of course, some people have talked about swirling and suggest it can stem from internalized belief that white or non-Black partners are more desirable, successful, and safer than their Black partners. Now, we've had very powerful figures, your Dr. Umar Johnson's, No Snow Bunnies, but also some of our master teachers like Master Teacher Neely Fuller Jr. and Francis Cress Welsing. They have all spoken critically of interracial relationships in the context of Black empowerment, arguing that such unions can dilute Black political and cultural solidarity because of the mixings of the race, that they're not going to have the same power and energy as if someone that has a Black mom and Black dad. So when we look at these things and these different perspectives, swirlers as a concept exists at the intersection of personal choice, as well as systematic pressures, historical context, and cultural identity. We either embrace or criticize. It reflects ongoing conversations in our community about love, survival, loyalty, and as well freedom. Now, I'm going to take a deeper dive because the term that we're going to get into next has nothing really to do with swirlers or relationship. This next segment has to do with power. And believe it or not, this next term here is Mejorar La Raza. And I'm going to show this video clip very, very quickly, but I do want to give you guys what this term means. Excuse me. Now, the term Mejorar La Raza, which translates from Spanish to improve the race in English. So this is a Spanish term that was created to mean to improve the race. Now, this phrase has historically been used in various parts of Latin America and the Caribbean to promote colorism and anti-Black sentiment, often encouraging lighter skin, straighter hair, and more European features as ideal. Now, it reflects the deeply rooted legacy of colonialism, white supremacy, and systematic racism in the region. So with that being said, I'm going to come back after this video.
Very appalled that I have not seen any African American descent. I've seen a few, but not a lot, out protesting of what's right, what's wrong. It's just weird to me that they are staying away from all this that is going on. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going on.
Now, she's playing ignorant and or dumb, as she's stating she doesn't know why. It doesn't matter if it's the Black Lives Matter movement, but we've had other Hispanics that come out and they understand why Black people are not supporting this, movement of illegal immigration. One, because Hispanics and Latinos, as a large majority, have not supported Black Americans. Okay, very small enclaves of different groups of people, as well as there's small enclaves of Black people that's supporting the movement now, but nonetheless, they have not supporting us. If anything, they've turned their nose up at us. Again, I'm not speaking about every Hispanic Latino person, but I'm speaking for a large majority where they don't want to even deal with us. We've heard people in jail speaking about that, Hispanic Latino man can't be in the same cell as a Black man. This is all due to ideology. This all has to do with race. And mostly this all has to do with colorism.
But I just hope that you guys do realize when it was Black Lives Matters that a lot of Hispanic and even Caucasian people stood up with you guys to represent that we all belong here, that we all need to be respected, because everyone is a human. And I just weird to me how protest only.
I do agree. All people need to be respected. But have you noticed that certain countries are not having issues with illegal immigration, aka Iran, Iraq, Yemen? No Middle Eastern countries I've never heard of having issues with illegal immigration. One, I believe most people would like to go there because of their laws and their strict, stringent regulations. But two, would they even want to go to these countries?
Seeing like Caucasian people and Hispanic people and just think that it's weird. Not sure why. But I really hope, America is always about government, it's always about hating a race. Like when they used to hate the Indians, when they used to hate all Chinese people because of coronavirus. Now it's the immigrants. Then when they used to hate Black Americans.
Okay, wait 1 second. The hate for Black Americans have never ended. The only thing you need to do is look at the news for a couple of days, and unfortunately, you will see a lot of our innocent, unarmed people be detained, shot, and brutalized by police and other white supremacists that are in the street. So she's trying to spit this narrative as if Black people are not experiencing racism, that Black people are not experiencing police brutality, that Black people are not being discriminated upon, that it went from, now she says Indians are actually from the country of India. We're speaking about the Native Americans. She's speaking about the Native Americans as well as the Chinese, aka Asians in some regards. And then she said, now it's the immigrants. Well, let's talk about that. Immigrants come from every country. There's Black immigrants, there are Hispanic immigrants, there are Asian immigrants, and there's white immigrants. So what she's trying to say, and I'm alluding to this because the differences she's making, she's talking about Hispanic immigrants.
Black African Americans. Um, but it never ends. It's gonna come a day again where the government's gonna say something about.
Last time, I'm getting tired of people calling Black Americans Black African Americans. Yeah, I know there's a difference because there are white African Americans, like Elon Musk, most notably. But nonetheless, we're just Black American. There's no African American in there. We understand that everybody's ancestry has originated in Africa, some more than others. Okay, some people migrated from Africa to Europe, thus the lighter skin in evolution. But nonetheless, we are Black Americans. We've been here in this country for hundreds of years. I never really hear people state other things like, oh, European, white, Caucasian American. No one does that. It's only for Black Americans. Why haven't you called yourself a Hispanic American or Hispanic Mexican American? Because it does not make sense. But for us, they throw in all these terms to confuse people. Foundational Black Americans are Americans, or you can call us Black Americans. Just leave all the other terms out.
About maybe African American people, and you guys will be attacked again because it happens all the time.
My apologies, but she said we will get attacked again. We are still getting attacked. This is a farce. Now, I really want to showcase this, and I'm just going to come on full screen here because I want to look for this clip for you guys, because you have all these different sects of the Latin community. One, spitting lies. Two, spitting racism. But there's only a couple, there's only a few that are actually spitting the truth. And I want to make sure I showcase this. Give me 1 second here. All right. Now, I showed this just the other day, but I want to show this again for context.
Se llaman los negros americanos.
100%.
African American community is the only community that has the power in this country to change anything. They are the only one with the experience of civil matter. They are the only one que tenían el esclavo ahí mismitico. They are the only one that are not going to get deported anywhere, and you cannot put them all in jail. So African American community, which is the community that is stepped on by Cubans, the most are the only ones that are going to save the Latinos. And I clap for the African American community that has not come out, because it is not. I do. We didn't do shit for them.
I get it. But I don't.
Me and you support, but in masses, we didn't support anything that was going with them. Latinos look at Cubans specifically. I'm not going to talk about any other community because I'm not part of that community, even though I'm a Latina with them. Cubans talk shit about African Americans.
It's true.
Cubans did not support African Americans. Cubans think that they all victimize themselves, that of this, all of that. African Americans are the only ones that are going to save your asses, Latino. So you better start kissing. If you're going to kiss some ass in this country, you better kiss some black.
All right. She took it a little bit farther, but you don't have to kiss any black butt there. But let me get back on with the term Mejorar La Raza. I think that's very important that I finish this breakdown, because Mejorar La Raza has often been used socially and even jokingly to encourage marrying someone with lighter skin to produce children with better, whiter features, essentially a euphemism for racial whitening. We don't have a term in Black America. Now, I gave you the breakdown of swirlers. That's more so for a different, again, that's for many different reasons. But they literally made a term, Mejorar La Raza, meaning improving the race by whitening the race. Okay, they also have another term, I think it's Blanqueamiento, another related concept that was part of official policies in some Latin American countries, especially in the 19th and 20th century. Now, we have to understand that these ideologies were somehow often tools of oppression that devalue African and indigenous identities and colorism, and it elevates whiteness and Eurocentric beauty standards, as well as intelligence and success. So again, there's a stark difference between what we call swirlers, as well as Mejorar La Raza. Mejorar La Raza is about power and being close to white ideology, as well as whiteness. Because I also gave you guys a breakdown, I believe, last week about the white supremacist culture in Latin and Hispanic America, where they actually have neo-Nazi gatherings, neo-Nazi concerts, neo-Nazi gangs and groups within Mexico. Okay, I did a special on Mexico, but again, these groups are all through Latin America. So when a lot of Hispanics come over to America, they have lighter, whiter skin. We shouldn't act surprised when they exercise racism and prejudice and discriminatory acts against darker skinned people, majority of Black American, because they already have colorism and racism in Latin America between darker Latin Americans and lighter Latin Americans. So again, this is the stark difference between the two. You guys have a great and wonderful day. This is Blacklogic.